Dear students, in previous class we have discussed about Greek civilization. In this lesson we have discussed about Pericles. So in the history, Pericles age golden age, because the Pericles when ruled in the Athens, that time Athens democracy reached high. So that reason in the history Pericles age is golden age. So when the Pericles ruled in the Athens, that time so the Athens developed economically and politically, and also Persians attacked again and again on the Athens. So at that time Persians burnt the Athens. That time Pericles rebuilt the Athens. So here, already you studied about Pericles and Pericles age, golden age. Why they call the Pericles age golden age? These all points you are studied in the last class. But I remembered few points in this class because you are busy first test. So that reason you forgotten these all concept. So this way I repeated few points in the last class. Okay, so here you know Pericles age golden age in the history, because when the Pericles ruled in the Athens, that time Athens democracy reached high. So because Pericles is the greatest king in the Athens, greatest king of the Athens. So that reason when the Pericles ruled in the Athens, that time Athens developed city and politically and economically. So the same way, so Persians attack again and again on the Athens. So that time when the Persians attacked on the Athens, that time Persians burnt the city of Athens. So Pericles rebuilt Athens city and he built many large buildings and constructions also. That time Pericles built a popular temple, Parthenon temple. So Pericles built Parthenon temple in the Athens. So finally Athens city, in the rule of Pericles, Athens city was a beautified city. The same way, so totally the same way in the rule Pericles, when the rule in the Athens, that time many philosophers and historians, poets and drummers and etc. So the great persons were lived, like historians Herodotus, Thucydides and Plutarch lived in the Pericles age. And the same way many philosophers Socrates and Plato and Aristotle, so etc. many greatest philosophers were lived in the Athens at the age of Pericles. The same way many greatest poets Sappho and Pindar and dramatists Aeschylus, Sophocles and Euripides, so and Pythagoras and Euclid, many great persons were lived in the Athens age of the Pericles. So that reason in the Athens Pericles age developed philosophy and history and poetry. So this way totally Athens city is reached high and developed city, most of developed city than the another cities, compare the another cities. So these all reasons we have considered in the history Pericles age golden age. So you remember it, why the called Pericles age in the golden age in the history. So may ask in the 5 marks, may ask in your examination for 5 marks questions. Pericles age in golden age, explain it. So that time Pericles how was ruled and what are the developments in the ruling of the Pericles, These all points right that time. Okay. And next you remember So Pericles Athens faced important two wars, important two battles. So first one, which battle? Yes, first one Persians and the next one Macedonia and Peloponnesian War. Peloponnesian War and Marathon War. So first one Marathon War. So Persians attack on the Athens. Persian attack on the Athens after the rule of Pericles. After the rule of Pericles, so Persians attack on the Athens. That time all Greece united and fought against the Persians, but not use because Greece defeated by the Persians. So that time Persians burnt Athens. Persians burnt Athens and Athens democracy lost that time. Athens democracy destroyed that time. So the same way, so another war or another battle happened in the Greek civilization. So that battle Peloponnesian War. Peloponnesian War happened between Sparta and Athens. So Peloponnesian War, it is the battle of it is the considered internal quarrels, because in the Greek civilizations five cities are there. First one Athens and Sparta and Corinth and Thebes. So and etc. So when the developed Athens, that time Sparta attack on the Athens. So that time Sparta won this battle. So that time Athens also destroyed again. The same way, and another empire came to the power. So which empire? Just you remember, already I told to you. Yes, which empire? Yes, Macedonia Empire. So Macedonia Empire came to the power under the Philip II. So Philip II is the energetic and young and energetic strong king of the Macedonia Empire. So of the Macedonia Empire, that time, so second Philip have the planned. So second Philip planned against the Persians. The same way, second Philip united the Greece and built a strong own army, because so he have the aim, so Persians defeated. So that reason second Philip united Greece and built a strong army, but his plan not succeed, because before his plan succeed, so he murdered secretly in the occasion of his daughter wedding. So that reason Philip planned not succeed. So and another, so Macedonia Empire and Macedonia power continued in the Greek civilization by the great person Alexander. So students, in this class we will study about Alexander the Great and General Seleucus and Ptolemy and Antigonus. So here so first we started the study about Alexander the Great. So you know, and already you listened the name of Alexander in the history. So in the history, the Alexander the Great, because he have the wonderful dream. So he tried to conquer to the world. So that reason in the history Alexander considered as the great person. So Alexander is the greatest person in the world history. So Alexander influenced his father Philip II. So Alexander, son of the second Philip, so he influenced by his father second Philip, but after his death, but Alexander came to the power after death of his father. So at the 20 age, Alexander came to the power after death of his father at the age of 20. So that time the Alexander become a greater persons of his father second Philip. But Alexander wanted conquered the whole world. So that reason he tried wonderfully, and when he came to the power, that time Alexander united Greece. The same way, so whole Greece accept his leadership. When Alexander came to the power, that time Alexander united the whole Greece. The same time and same way, so whole Greece and whole people of Greece accepted his leadership. So that time Alexander built a strong army and attacked a common enemy. Who was the common enemy of Alexander? Yes, Persians. Because so Persians attacked again and again Greek civilization or Athens. So that reason, so in the history of Greek civilization, Persians considered as the common enemy of Greek civilization. That reason, Alexander when came to the power, that time Alexander built a strong army, and so he attacked on the Persians with 35,000 soldiers. 35,000 soldiers. So already Alexander have the wonderful plan, and the way of the planned, Alexander built a strong army, and then he attacked on the Persian with 35,000 soldiers. So that time Persians were defeated by Alexander in 3 battles. First one, Granicus, Issus and Arabal. It means 3 battles happened between Persians and Alexander. So in 3 wars like Granicus and Issus and Arabals, in 3 wars Persians were defeated by Greece. So in 3 wars Alexander have a victory, and then Alexander attacked on the Egypt. When Alexander attacked on the Egypt, that time Alexander have the victory against to the Egyptians. That time Egyptians defeated by the Alexander, and that time Alexander built a new city, Alexandria. When Alexander defeated Egyptians, that time Alexander built a new city, Alexandria, on the mouth of river Nile. So here already you listened about the victory of Alexander. So Alexander have the victories continuously. So that reason Alexander influenced by the continuous victory. So that reason he continued his merchants. Because Alexander wanted conquer to the world. So that reason Alexander first defeated Persians, and then he attacked on Egypt and defeated the Egyptians, and then Alexander attacked to the India into the Karakoram mountains. So when the Alexander attacked on the India, that time Furuva or Furus. So Furus ruled in the border of India. So that time when the Furuva ruled in the border of India, that time Alexander attacked with his 35,000 soldiers on the India. So that time Furu was defeated by the Alexanders. So and conquered the many places like Kabul, Afghanistan, Kandahar and Balochistan. So when Alexander attacked on the India, that time Furu was ruled in the border of India. So Alexander attacked on the India with 35,000 soldiers. So that time Furu was defeated by the Alexander, and Alexander conquered the many places like Balochistan and Kandahar and Kabul and Afghanistan. So that time Alexander have the plan. So he tried to conquer entire India, but he is not succeed because Alexander's soldiers very tired, very tired for the continuous marches. So it's the two reasons are there, because Alexander not occupied the entire India. Here two reasons are there. So first reasons, Alexander's soldiers very tired for the continuous marches. First Persians attack on the Persians, and then Egyptians, and then India, border of India. So here the continuous merchants reason the soldiers of Alexander's tired. So that time Alexander's soldiers refused the forward. And another reason, when the Alexander have the planned attack on the entire India, that time in the middle India, Nanda's empire ruled. So already you studied about Nanda's empire in your SSLC. So you know very well now Nanda's emperors very strong. So that reason Alexander soldiers teamed facing the Nanda's emperors. So that reason Alexander soldiers refused the attack on the entire India. That time Alexander tried and tried to convince to his soldiers, but it not used. So that finally Alexander and his army go to their country. That time Alexander facing a heavy fever. So that reason Alexander dead in the age of 32. Alexander dead age of 32 in 323 B.C.E. in Babylonia. So here Alexander what have dream? Yes, Alexander dream. So he tried to conquer through the world, but his dream is not success. But his ruling is very good. And because when the Alexander ruled in the Athens that time, so his common enemies Persians were defeated by the Alexander, and then he attack on the Egypt, and that time Egyptians also defeated by the Alexander, and here Furus also defeated by the Alexander. So these all conquered, these all victories reason of the great. In history, Alexander has considered the great person in the world history. So here, who was the Alexander, and why the called in the history the Alexander great person in the world history? So I hope you understood about the Alexander. And next we move to the words of General Seleucus. So who was General Seleucus? After the death of Alexander in the Greek, so many problems arose and internal quarrels also started for 40 years. That time, so Greek divided into the three parts. When after the death of Alexander, so in the Greek civilization or in the Greece, many problems arose and the internal quarrels also started for the 40 years. That time, Greece Empire divided for the three parts under the General Seleucus, Ptolemy and Antigonus. Okay, so first one we studied about General Seleucus. After the death of Alexander, General Seleucus ruled the Persian. So why? Yes, Alexander already conquered the Persian. So that reason Persian include the Greek civilization or Greece country. So that reason after the death of Alexander, General Seleucus ruled the Persian, and General Seleucus attacked on the India also. When the General Seleucus attacked on the India, that time in India, who ruled? Yes, Maurya's Empire ruled in India. So who was built in the Maurya's Empire? Tell me. Yes, who was? Chandragupta Maurya. Built was the Maurya's Empire. So here, when the Seleucus attacked on the India, that time in India, Maurya's Empire ruled. It means Chandragupta Maurya ruled in India. So you know about very well Maurya's Empire and Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya is very strong. Chandragupta Maurya defeated Nandas means Dhananandas, and then he built the Maurya's Empire, an independent empire that time. So the same time Seleucus attacked on the India. So that time the quarrels and the battle happened with the between Chandragupta Maurya and Seleucus. So this battle considered in the history Jhelum or Hydaspes and Jhelum. So when the Seleucus attacked on the India, and that time a battle happened between General Seleucus and Chandragupta Maurya. So this battle called in the history Jhelum battle of Jhelum and battle of Hydaspes. So here when the Seleucus attacked on the India, that time Chandragupta Maurya ruled in India. So already I told to you, Chandragupta Maurya very strong emperor or very strong king in the Maurya's Empire. So that reason Seleucus defeated by the Chandragupta Maurya. In the battle of Jhelum or Hydaspes. That time Chandragupta Maurya conquered many places like Kandahar, Baluchistan, Kabul and Afghanistan. So already I told to you, when the Alexander attacked on the India, that time Alexander defeated Furuvas and conquered the many places like Kandahar, Baluchistan and Kabul and Afghanistan. So after the death of Alexander, when the Seleucus attacked on the India, that time Chandragupta Maurya defeated the General Seleucus and conquered the Kandahar, Baluchistan, Kabul and Afghanistan. So after the victory of Chandragupta Maurya, so his Jhelum or Hydaspes battle conclude in the treaty. So that treaty, way of the treaty, so General Seleucus gave his daughter in the marriage with the Chandragupta Maurya, and he sent to the Megasthenes, is the great person Megasthenes, to the India. So finally Chandragupta Maurya is a very strong king, and he defeated General Seleucus and conquered the Kandahar, Balochistan, Kabul and Afghanistan. So finally Seleucus accepted his the rights or power of the Chandragupta Maurya, and he went to his countries. And then tell me he ruled in the Nile, Egypt and Peloponnnesia. So here tell me, when the ruled in the Egypt, that time he built a temple. When the tell me ruled in the Egypt, so why he ruled in the Egypt? So Alexander conquered Egypt also. So that reason Egypt include the Greece Empire. So that reason tell me ruled in the Egypt. So that time when the Ptolemy ruled in the Egypt, that time Ptolemy built a temple, and that temple dedicated to the Greece goddess of art, literature and learning. Present this temple considered or converted as the museum. Present day this temple converted as the museum. Okay, and next came the Antigonus. So Antigonus ruled in the Macedonia and Peloponnnesia. So Macedonia and Peloponnnesia, so under of the Antigonus. So totally, so in the class we have studied about Alexander the Great and General Seleucus and Ptolemy and Antigonus. Here Alexander was a great person in the history of world because his personalities and his victories and his system of ruling. So thus all reasons in the history considered as the great person of Alexander. And finally Alexander Empire, after the death of Alexander, divided into under of the General Seleucus and Ptolemy and Antigonus. So already we have discussed about General Seleucus, when the attack on the India and what are the result it, and then Ptolemy and Antigonus. Ptolemy ruled in the Egypt and Antigonus ruled in the Macedonia and Peloponnnesia. So dear students, I hope you have clear picture about Alexander and General Seleucus and Ptolemy and Antigonus. Okay, so you remember about Alexander the Great. So what are the achievements of Alexander the Great? So these all points you remember. So what are the battles happened in the age of Alexander? These all points you should remember it. Okay, so in this class we have discussed about Alexander, General Seleucus, Ptolemy and Antigonus. In the next class we will discuss about art and architectures or contribution to the art and architectures of Greece. Okay, thank you.